So let's discuss about the list data structure now, the first one. So this is perhaps this is the most commonly used data structure in Python. It allows us to store elements of different data types in a single container. Unlike C language or Java, where if you create an array, you need to set the data type. The complete data structure should contain the same data type. But here in Python, it's replaced with array, and it has another concept of array also. It's an extension one, other than this four. That is almost equivalent to C language one, but that syntax and everything is different. But coming to C, this is almost equivalent to C language data structures, arrays. So here, when you're creating an array, I mean a list, you can simply in the square spaces, you can add multiple values like this. If it is C language, you are limited to only integers here. If you keep an integer value, a string, that complete array should be same. But here you can keep multiple values. You can keep integers, strings, float, boolean, any kind of data type, a mixed one. And here the indexing starts with 0. If you want to access the first element, you need to access like this. You have 0. The last element you can write in the negative numbers, -1. And from backside it starts with -1. -1 things to true. If you want to access true, you can access 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ninth value, right? Ninth value means you need to access it as the counting starts from 0, it should be a of 8, or from the reverse counting, a of -1, any of these two. So if you want to know the length of this one, there is a function called len, length of a. It will give you an integer value of how many numbers are there, how many, if it is here it is 0 to 8 indices, right? And the length will be 9 because total 9 elements. Understood. So there is one more function. If you need to fetch a sequence of elements like from numbers from 1 to 100, from 1 to 1000, like that, the best option is to create that using range function. Normal approach is you need to type from 1 to 100 continuously. Here what you can do is you can create a sequence like this, range of the first number that starts from 0. If you need a range from 0 to 9, I need from 1 to 100, right? 1 to 101 you can see. So because the right side one is the upper limit, this won't be included. The number still the people will be included. If you need only the even numbers, you need to mention the step size also. After 1, you need to start from 2. Then after 2, next element should not be 3, it should be 4. So one number is skipped. So for that, we'll keep the step size as 2, like this. So once this range is created, this number variable will be pointing to a range object. So this range object should be converted to a list object. So for that, I will use it as a function, and I will use number. Num list. Num list will print the numbers. So I told you it can have multiple data types inside it. So inside a list, you can have one more list also. An individual element, it can have one more list also. This is called as nested list. So to access this 23, what I need is, it is the last item now. So last item will be accessed using af minus 1. This will retrieve me this complete list. In this one, I want the 23. 23 is the second item. So then I will provide with this. So second item is index 1 because first item is index 0. So if this list contains one more list inside, the same, you can add one more nesting inside that, like this. So far, let's run till here. One.py. So let me run this. You see here, it created even numbers from 2 to 100. If I keep this range only till 100, this 100 won't be included in this list because this is not inclusive upper limit. So it will stop in 98 itself. Because 99 anyway, it's not coming under step size. You see, till 99. So if I remove the step size 2, then it will print all the sequential numbers one after another. You see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep one from 1. Similarly, if you want to print all the negative numbers, I mean odd numbers, you can keep like this step size now from 1. It will print all the odd numbers. Let's come to this one. I told you length of array. You can check that also. List. See, 50. Because half of the values are skipped because of step size 2. And you want to try this example, right? Just copy this and comment all these parts. So to access the last this 23 value, I can write like this. You see 23. So if I don't provide the second index, it will print this complete list, the internal nested list. You see. So now let's try take one more functionality of the list. That is merging the list. Like we will be having two lists. You want to combine both of them. You can do that. See, if you are doing an operator plus, if you are using the plus operator for integer subplots, it is used for additions. So when I'm using the plus operator, if I'm using for numbers, it will be used as addition. If I'm using for strings, it will be used as concatenation to join the strings. Similarly, for using the same operator for list, it will be used for merging. Understood. Based on the data type, the functionality of the symbol is changed. So this can be treated as after overloading. So let me take an example. So here what I will do is I will create two lists and I will join both of them. This is one list, second list. Using plus operator, I am creating a new list. That one will be stored into this merge list. When I run that, you see the complete one. Instead of using this plus, you can use extend function also. But extend is not a normal function. It is part of the list object. So to access it, we need this dot. beside any list. After that, you see this extend is added. In this one, as an argument, I will give the second list. So here what happens is earlier with the plus symbol, a new list is created. But here to the existing party list only, this content is added. So it's not creating a new list again. It's adding to the existing list. Understood? So, so far just I have showed you basic functionalities, right? So let's go deep about the other functionalities available in this list object. So whenever we are specifying any data structure, we need to show 4 different operations to it. One is how to add elements. Next is how to remove elements. Next, partitioning or slicing the data inside it. Another one is parsing to the content, search and index. Another one is sorting the elements, either ascending or descending order. List, sort, search. Understood? So let's go one by one. See, we covered this extend part, right? Now let's do this existing list. If I want to add a new element, I can use this append and add the element directly. Let me add one more element. Let me print the generated array. When I run this, you can see both these values are appended at the end. So when I use the append function, it will add the element at the end of it. So how many elements if you want, you can simply add. See, when you are creating an element, if you already have the values available, you can add them while initializing, or else you can create an empty array like this. Later, you can add individual elements by using this .append function. So this append, what it is doing is it is adding the element at the end of the list. Understood? So when I run this, I can run it. So let's say I want to, let me add this back, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this syntax is not available here. Let me keep list of range of 1, 11. So I will get 1 to 10 elements. After 1 to 10, my return is added. So let's say if I add one more element, it will add at the end. But let's say if I want to add at the first position or second position, so then what I can do is I can use the insert function. After this part dot insert, the first argument will be the index where I want to position. Let's say I will keep 1 at index 1, and let's say at index 3. So index 3 will be this value 4 at present. At index 3, I will add a new element. Let's say new element. Now type int of part here. You see, in place of this 4, this element got inserted, and 4 moved a bit ahead. This 4 is moved right side, and that void position of that index 3, this value is inserted. So if you want to insert an element at particular index, you can use this one, index. So let's say here, here with index function, what I'm doing is I'm just moving these values a bit right side and I'm inserting that value there. Instead, I want to replace the element. See at index 4 is now, so I can directly access them with that particular index. Index 3 is the new element now. There I can replace with some other value. Directly I can replace like this. I don't need any function. So I can simply print, copy here and print it. You can see here in place of a new element, this replacement here. If I keep insert, what happens is this new element will be printed here, means and replacement will be added here. So that's the difference. So if you want to access an individual elements, you are directly accessing with the index of that, right? So let's say if you want to remove an element from the list, what you can do is there is a function called pop. So that is a property inside that list object. So what you can do is you need to access the object with dot operator, and there it will list down all the properties, both methods and individual variables. Here there is pop. You see, once you run this pop, what happens is whichever the last element, that will be removed. Understood? Now we print it. When you run this, yeah, the Kiran is removed. And while removing, once that element is removed, you can fetch that and store in another variable also. It's like when you are removing from that container, you can just store it in another container if you want. Let me run again. See, Kiran is removed from here, but that is picked in this variable. Understood? So like append, pop is just opposite to that one, append. So similarly, let's see the opposite of insert, that is remove, which is part underscore a dot remove, and you need to mention the index, not index, the value. Let's say I want to remove this 6. When I run that, see what happens. Print here. This 6 is removed. It's not actually, it is looking for that particular value, not at that index. Understood? If you want to just part underscore a dot, just wait for a few seconds, it will get all the different functions available. Clear will delete all the elements and make it as an empty list. Copying will create a new copy of the list. Count is like length of function. Length of is an outside function. Then count is the internal property of this object, which will provide you the number of elements in it. Extend, as I shown you earlier. Index will provide you, I guess it is provide you the value of that particular index. I mean, if you mention a value, provide any value as argument, it will show you the index of that particular element, first index. Pop I showed you, remove I showed you. Reverse will change the order of all the elements. Sort, it will sort based on the ascending or descending order which you set. Understood. And in this remove, instead of 6, let me provide a new list with the 6 comma 9 and run that. No, X is not the list. Oh, sorry. Okay, that is right. I'm having the nested arrays, not a single value. You can provide only a single value. If you provide as a list, it should be a nested list which is available there. That will be done. 7 is remember. And if you remember, while we explained strings, we used a slicing operation, right? The same applies here also. The list slicing, like string slicing. And I will show you the index of operation now. So let's say print underscore a dot index of let's say that Uday element. We'll see. You see, it's showing the index as 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So total 11 elements. As I started from 1, it's showing 11. Need to count from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Uday is having at index 10. If you want to check existence of an item, let's say I want to check whether replace item element exists in this one. It will print true or false whether it exists or not. So let me change it, add a more space. So it will be a different element now, right? It's showing false now. Let me use the sort function. For removal of 7, I will anyway it's sorted, but let me add a new value. Let's say some 7, not 7, 8. So when you run this one, you see 1, 2, 3, replace element 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Okay, here it got removed because of the off. Let me cut this and keep here. Now it's expanded. 8 is still at the end when Kiran is removed. So when I use sort, let's say, as it in internal method, it will modify the contents of this part. You don't need to do any assignment statement. It will do the sorting now. Now you can see not supported between instances of list and R. So it's trying to sort, but it seems as we are having different types of elements, it's not able to sort because we are having both strings and integers, right? So let me remove this integer part. Replace element, everything I will remove. First print I will keep. Yeah, first one is without sorting and second one is with sorting. So when I sort that one, we are having two 8s here, right? One is at the end and the middle. When I sort, it is doing with ascending order by default, and this 8 is kept here, one after another. Understood? So there is one more important concept left in the list, that is called as list comprehension. That is to apply for loop while generating or modifying the list, creating a new list. And we'll just mention that create an expression inside that square brackets, and it will just evaluate that expression, and which are the list of sequence of elements is created, that will be used for creating the list. So let's say I have a number, I have a list like this, 10 to 50 numbers. Let me create one more empty list. So now what I will do is without this list comprehension, let's say I'll create a for loop. In that one, I'll iterate through all these elements in the nums, and for each and every element, I will multiply it with 2, and the newly generated value I will add to the second list. Understood? So now just print the nums, the initial value, and next print the nums double. You see, always got doubled. Let's change it to our list comprehension syntax now. And for your reference, I am not removing this. I will just comment this. Now, instead of creating an empty list, let me comment this also, so that I can create directly in the assignment statement. Nums underscore double equal to, here I will create a list. Inside this list, I will mention the expression which evaluates, it should generate a similar double list like this. So for that, what I will do, I will consider a individual element, let's say some I in 2 should be returned, and this I will be an element in for I in nums. So every time this for loop and internal, what happens, it will return one by one elements and assign it to this I, and that one will be doubled, and that one will be assigned to this. And with this expression, a new list is created and will be assigned to this one. You see, it's working. So if you want, you can add condition also. Here I just iterated that. I can write like this also. I can write like if it is divided by 4, then only it should return. Not n, now we add this I, right? See, only 40 and 80. So you can add condition also. Similarly, you can use multiple lists, not only a single one. So that one will be like this. You see, I am assigning 2 variables, and n1 is in the list 1, n2 is in the list 2, and I kept a condition also. If both of them is greater than 100, then only it should. Understood. Here I am. It's the syntax of tuple actually. So I'm creating a set of multiple tuples and creating as a list from that. So tuples are the elements of the list. So what is this tuple actually? Tuple is also similar to list, but list you can change the elements later by using the assignment statement, right? But tuples is a read-only one. While you are creating a tuple, at that time you can create, but later you cannot change the values of it. Understood? If you try to merge two different tuples using the plus operator, it will create a new tuple completely if you are not modifying that. So that one will work. But you cannot modify the individual elements. You can go read them with that index operations, search operations you can do and all, whichever we did with list. But we cannot do the remove, delete, append, all these things we cannot do with tuples. Understood. So more details about lists can be found in python.org, right? Lists in Python. Go to this, yeah, the Python main website. Here you can see the individual methods available also. Understood? Always go to the python.org website, because whichever website, even though more comprehensive it is, it will be in some or other way got the information from this main website, because this was created by the creators of Python. You see list, tags, list comprehension, you got all the samples here. And there is one more delete also, forgot to tell you, but because I really use this one here, in the remove method, we are removing based on the value. Here we will be removing based on the index and tuples. There is now these sets and dictionaries I will explain, So dictionary is a key value pair. See, list what happens, we are providing individual values as elements. And if we want to access them, we are accessing with the position number. But dictionary is a key value pair kind of. It's like this is the list. Individual items can be accessed with 0, 1, 2 like this. But with here what happens is in dictionary, instead of these numbers, we will assign our own keys, our own custom names or numbers. Let's say UT. Something like this. It should be unique actually. Values don't need to be unique, or you can keep some number also. So if you want to access a value here, let's say if you want to get ERT something, if it is here, I will just type the variable name of 0, right? Here what you will do is, here also variable name, but instead of number, you will be using this one. Understood? So let me show you with an example. So I will create an empty dictionary now. You can assign directly also. But To cover both of them, I will create an empty dictionary first. And also I will create one more dictionary with some values with both keys and ways and print that one also. See, first one is empty dictionary. So when you print this one, it will show like this. And second one is I provided key value pairs like this. If you see, this is key, this is value. Both are separated with colon, and individual key value pairs are separated with commas. When you print the phone book, you see the first one is empty. Second one we have added values like this. And it is an unordered value. It doesn't mean that it is coming first or second, because anyway we are not referring through them with the position numbers, right? We are just referring with the keys. So you don't need to worry about the order also. So you can create a dictionary like this, or you can create a dictionary with a construction method called a dict. So let me show you that example. That is for a single values, you can do like this. For complex objects, it's better to use the dict function and all. You see, I'm using a dict function here, and I am first what happened, I created a dictionary object, an empty dictionary. Later, created a phone book dictionary object. In that one, let me execute that. In the dict, in the constructor, I provided these three values instead of those braces. I provided multiple key value pairs here. It will directly create a dictionary object and as in like this. Here, what you observed is I didn't provide the quotes like this, like earlier. It's picked directly with the dictionary object. But in the second case, the alternate object is I'm using this where I'm providing as a list with multiple tuple values. Each and every key value pair I am sharing as a tuple with both as strings, and through that also it is being created. So to access the values, the one option is you can use that phone book, that one, like this you can do, or you can use phone book dot get of recording. So in the get, I will mention the key value like this. Also, I can access. These are two options. And let's go to the data manipulation part of these dictionaries. The most common thing is first, which we observed in the list. The first one is adding the entries. For adding the entries, you can just, if it is a list, you will be using the append function. Here, you don't need any append function because we are not following any order here. So simply what you can do is you can simply create a new entry just as it is Batman, like that. You type Catwoman is equal to some value. If this value already, a key pair already exists with this particular key, that value will be updated. If it doesn't exist, a new key pair will be inserted into that one. Let me print this and show you. Okay. You see a new entry not created. So removing entries, what you can do is you can use the delete function. Like we in list, we will mention delete and the list of index, right? Here we will simply type delete and this phone book of cat. Or you can use the get also. No need to be this. Next approach. It got removed. Similarly, we have pop item also. So pop and pop, we have pop function there. Similarly, here also we have pop item. Here what happens is it will remove the last inserted by whichever the insertion pairs, like the pop element. Like in pop, you can use last added is equal to dot. So recently, whichever is added, that will be removed. Printed, that can be removed. So let me run this and show you. See, this is the last entry added. This one is already removed. So the next one, file creation. So similarly, you can get the length of the dictionary with the len function, and you can check the key existence with in, like we did in lists. But here it will search for that particular key. You can copy the contents using the update. You can update like this. See, there like we are using append to add multiple entries there. I mean, not append, extend. We'll use extend to add one more list to existing list, right? Here we will be using update function to add one more phone book to here. So dictionary comprehension, like how you use for loop in the list comprehension, we can use in the dictionary comprehension also. So example is this one. You see, a dictionary is created, and in the new dictionary, I'm just multiplying n with 2. Here, what is n? For n comma house, houses dot items. Okay, houses dot items will retrieve me a list. Means not list. It will bring all the. It will convert a dictionary to a list, and that list contains tuples as elements, and each tuple is key value. Understood? You can print that and see. And that tuple, yeah. And again, that one we are converting back using this basis, right? So that's why it is again printed as a dictionary only. So if you want to get more details about this, you can go to this link for dictionaries. More details, makes into that manner. Now let's discuss about last data type. This is set. And what is the difference between set and list is set is a set allows duplicates, not set. Lists allowed duplicates. So if I create a list like this, it will accept 2, 3 values. But when you try to convert this back to a set, it will keep only one copy of these 3. Understand? And one more thing is when you are converting to set, so we are not sure which copy will exist because both of them are same in the sets. And one more thing is the order is not fixed in sets. Understood? So let me explain it that. Let me create a list from this. It's just an unordered collection of data. And of course you can keep multiple data types in this one. You can create a set from existing list. Let's say some li is equal to and print li will print this complete list. Let me convert this to set. You see, 1, 3 is removed, and this one is converted to flower brackets. So here I have converted to the set. So let me create one more. And if you observe here, the order is also not fixed here. 45 came at the end. And of course, it is providing in the ascending order. But the main thing I want to say is you cannot access the individual elements using the index values like we did in the list because the order is not fixed here. You can create a set like this also with the set function. And also I got a sample from another website, and I can, you see, I'm creating a set like this, just passing the individual values using the flower brackets, and this complete in the square bracket set, I am using this set function to convert it to a set, and I can run that. So when you are doing this, let me add 14082 times. Now only one will be appearing, so one will be removed. So even if you keep duplicate values here, only one will be received. This one is creation using set constructor, right? And this one is using the obviously the same set constructor, but I'm converting list to that one. And you can add new elements to it by using the add method. Similarly, you can use the update method which we followed in dictionaries here also to append a new set to it completely. You can provide the argument to that update method, a set or a list or whichever. For deleting, you can use a remove or discard to remove a particular value from set. And for iterating through set, you can just use a for loop, but you cannot access them with indexes. If you want to access them to indexes, you need to convert them to list. More details you can check in this link. The same link, but you just scroll down that you can see that. So you can consider this set as set theory in the mathematics, this is exactly equivalent to that one, because a set cannot contain the duplicate values like that. And when you are having multiple sets, you can use union operation. When you are having two different sets in mathematics, we used to do union operations, right? A set, another set. Uh, Union will be giving complete all these items, and intersection will be this part. Difference will be this part, a minus b. Let's say this one. Difference will be this part. If I do a minus b, if I do b minus a, you will get this part. This intersection part will be removed. So all this can be done in sets. Understood? So you can get more details about it from here. Here you can see theory operations. Yeah, you got an idea, right? The methods will be union, intersection, like that only. Let's say you see copy, intersection update, remove, difference, is superset, is upset, remove, union, intersection, all the set related operations. So that is all so far. And now in most of the calculations, we'll be doing converting them to lists from dictionary or sets, and everything will be converting them to lists. So that's why I'll show you a sample program which will be doing all of them. So here it is a tuple. This tuple I got printed directly, and this is a set because it's square brackets, and I'm printing this set now. And this is a dictionary. Understood? So converting from tuple to a list is simple. I'll simply place list in front of it. This will be converted to square brackets thing. And converting from set also simply this list. And converting from dictionary also same. But when converting to dictionary, this dictionary object will be converted to list of tuples. You see 1000 Star Wars list converting from dictionary. It seems it created two separate lists. Sorry, not list of tuples. It created two separate lists. One with only the values, and another one is with indexes. So let me remove the upper portions, then you understand. One, two, three. Only the index, sorry. Only the indexes you are getting. 1, 2, 3. Only the index part you got, and it converted to list. If you want to get the values also, just type dot items and values. You see. Now the first one what I told, it converted to a list, but each list item is a tuple with first value as p and second value as index. Understood? Similarly, if you want to convert to tuple instead of using list, you just type tuple here the same way. And similarly, converting to set, you type set. And converting to dictionary, you will just for writing. I will show, in this example, I will show you how to convert from a list to a dictionary. You see. So whatever so here I am creating a list with key value pairs are in individual nested list inside. That one got converted to key value pairs now. Similarly, tuple also like that, it also like that. There are also other ways to convert between different data structures. That doesn't involve this explicit conversion. You can just go through the official documentation. You can do that one. That's it. In the next video, I will show you the most common set of libraries we will be using in Python. Thanks for watching this.